Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. It's your boy Benny, and in today's video, well, let me just get this out the way. The title was kind of clickbait when I said the future of Striker Odyssey. I'm gonna be honest, I just want to show you guys all my suggestions for weapons that should get added, and I'm gonna tell you guys my suggestions for what I think the nerfs to certain weapons should be, and the buffs and reworks for certain weapons. And some of these suggestions are suggestions that I've been saying for a while, especially this Corona one. I had made the suggestion way back during testing, and Stacks, he replied and he was like, I like this skill set. It's definitely something I'll consider. I don't think you considered this at all. Like, I'm keeping it a stack with you. Like, it made me feel special because like I was one of the only people he ever responded to when I put a weapon suggestion. But we don't even know if the Corona weapon is even a thought for Stacks. Before we continue the video and get into all the weapons, I just want to let you guys know that I have a Discord server with Sheikah and a few other YouTubers in it. If you guys want to go ahead and join, it's like a community server. Feel free. We're in VC a lot. You can join and talk to us. If you guys ever want to play Striker Odyssey with me, that's the way to ask me. That's the way to meet me. Things like that. Also, let's hit 1,000 subscribers. We are very close. I think as of the time of recording this, we're at 965, so we're getting really close. And don't forget to make sure to like the video, comment on the video, and subscribe. Let's start from the beginning. For all these weapons, I'm going to throw up pictures on the screen or videos representing what these weapons do. Now, with the Toshi Sei, it's going to be just all passes. I put it at Prodigious, but to be honest, it could be legendary since it has no shooting skills and it's all passes. Even though it's 3 moves, it could still be a legendary weapon. But first, we have long driven pass. It is a long range pass, and you click on a teammate to pass. Similar to how Trivela pass works, you have to click on your teammate for the pass to go out. It has a super long range, and it has a similar speed to a PKA straight, and the cooldown is 30 seconds. Now, what is my idea of like super long range? The base range should be from your own goal to the middle of the field on the big map, not the small league map, on the big map. Now, obviously, this gets scaled with punch stat and punch prodigy. Yeah, this move could like go super far if you have punch prod and max punch. Next, we have lob pass. The physics of this move works similarly to the auto lob pass that we have in the game already. Yet you have to click on a teammate to use it, and it has a trail on it, obviously, and it lands on the player's head, which stops the ball from being easily stolen from other people. Next, we have ultra fast pass, which is really the bread and butter of his whole kit. You click on a teammate to use it, and it has similar speed to Villainous Shot. Please, none of the camera shake from Villainous fucking Shot, bro. Villainous Shot camera shake is ridiculous, but please, none of that camera shake. And it passes to the teammate, it auto tracks and everything, and it's super fast. And then next we have Corona. I'm not gonna cap to you, I cooked on this Corona weapon. It's probably one of the best weapons I've ever done. So yeah, I'm gonna get right into it. So the weapon is called Planet Hotline. If you read the manga, you know what it is. Making it a Prodigious, I did consider making it a world class and adding 1 or 2 more skills to it. I thought it belonged in a Prodigious category. First move back and forth, you click on a teammate, just like Trivela pass, and you do a series of back and forth passes that can't normally be stolen, but can be stolen from moves like trapping, mark smell, and total defense. But trapping, I mean like creative trap. When the ball is getting passed between, you can creative trap it. That one doesn't necessarily have to be a thing. The trapping one doesn't necessarily have to be a thing, but I think it would be good for balancing, because if only mark smell and total defense can get it, might be a little too good. Next, we have receiving, kind of like mark smell, but you can only receive the ball if your teammate passes it to you. So if the ball enters your circle, you get priority over everyone. It is a frame 1 move. It gets priority over trapping, but again, it's only if your teammate is the one who shoots the ball or auto passes the ball to you. And last move, Planet Hotline, which is the best move in the kit. It's you pick a teammate and orbit around them for 10 seconds. During this time, if a teammate clicks on you, you get priority over everyone and receive the ball, and you can click on your teammate and they will get the ball back, and it can't be stolen. It can only be stolen by mark smell or total defense. but then again, you're literally just running around your teammate while he's running around the map, so it's gonna be harder to like get the ball from that. Next we have Rayo. Now I chose to make Rayo a legendary because you just can't make a full skill set off of his like single weapon. It's kind of impossible. You can't make a prodigious weapon off of this. So his one skill is called the Chameleon, obviously, and you click on a player to gain access to the last weapon they used. When gaining access to their move, it scales it down by 1 skill point. Now what do I mean by this? I put an example saying that if you copy Villainous Shot and you have max punch, it would scale down your punch to 4 punch instead of 5 punch when you shoot the ball, making it so that you can't fully use the potential of the move just like it is in the anime, but you can still use their move. Now I have Gagamaru. Now this is one of my favorite ones that I've done. This is not a player goal keep weapon. Now, I don't know if you guys know this, but Stacks used to have player goal keep controls on the game page, and he has since removed it after the game release. But he has thought about adding player goal keeps, and it is something that he might be open to. But this is not a player goal keep weapon. So his weapon is called Explosive Reaction, obviously, and his first move is called Super Reflex. In this move, he has a dash similar to Creative Trap, you know, when you don't hit the ball, how you just jump forward. But he goes slightly further than that, and if the ball enters the hitbox, the player kicks it away, similar to the Aiku weapon. Next we have Scorpion Kick. Player puts both hands on the ground and does a heel kick. Move works similar to Direct Shot and Dragon Drive, as you have to time it correctly to hit the ball. You know what I mean. And then Ultra Reflex is the best move in his kit. The move is holdable. While holding the move, the player can move around freely. Just like if you're holding down Creative Trap, you can move around freely. A small ring appears on the ground. What do I mean by this? I do not mean a Mark Smell circle. I mean a small ring that's visible, but it's not a 3D thing. It's just on the ground. And it has the size, like the parameter of max defense Mark Smell that gets drawn around the player using the move. And if there is an opposing player within your circle and they shoot the ball, you instantly gain possession of the ball. Now, I haven't worked out whether or not I want this move to have a cooldown for how long you can hold it. So like say you can only hold it for like 30 seconds and then the move will go on cooldown. That probably would work better than just having it be infinite, because that would be too broken. And yeah, the cooldown is 40 seconds, so it's got a pretty decently long cooldown. Next we have Karusu, my friend Goofy, aka Connor actually did this one. The move name is Mediocre Killer and it's a legendary. I think it's a little bit good to be a legendary, but basically for the first move you have a movable offense. While using the skill, anyone within 5 meters or any fixed range that sacks the sides, if he does add the weapon, which he won't, anybody within 5 meters gets pushed away with your hands with an animation granting iframes during the duration. You are able to shoot during this animation. Basically what this means is you can have your hand placed on the opposing player and they physically cannot steal the ball from you or contest the ball from you if they are the player that you have your hands on, and you can shoot while in this animation, but doesn't stop people from being inside of goal and being able to stop the shot. It's only a one-on-one offense type of thing. Next we have Moving Feint. Using your hands similar ways to the previous move, you force your opponent off balance, making them slide. This move forces the opposing player to slide on you, and the slide won't do anything. They won't be able to steal the ball or anything. It just forces them to slide, so you just easily get by them. Now last we have Chris Prince. Now I'll show you guys this, but just know that I'm working on more moves for Chris Prince, and I'm trying to get more source material. I'm reading back through the arc, Manshine versus Bastard Munchin, to really get his best abilities. Still have a shooting skill that I have to add. It's a world-class weapon called Target Man. So yeah, the first ability is called Perfect Physicality. Now this is probably one of my favorite moves I've ever made, and basically what it does is after using the move, the player receives a buff. And this buff gives them maxed out stat points in every category for 30 seconds. Now the cooldown is 45 seconds, but the move does not go on to cooldown until the 30 seconds of the buff gets off of cooldown. Alright, and last we have Titanic Defense. What appears to be a giant monster reaches their hand out. Any ball that touches the hand gets sent away, similar to Aiku move, and the hitbox of this covers half the goal, but you don't need to be in goal to use this skill. And also, the side in which the skill is used is dependent on your skill direction. Alright, now onto what buffs and nerfs I feel like need to happen. Now, I think with the addition of all these really good weapons getting added, how good trapping was before, it has gone down in tiers in terms of being overpowered and being meta. If you're playing defense, trapping is still a weapon you need to have. You don't necessarily need it to play offense though. Now for trapping though, I do think that Black Hole Trap's hitbox needs a slight nerf, but to compensate for that, I would make Creative Trap have a slightly bigger vertical hitbox. Now, I don't mean a vertical hitbox that can cover top post shots, but the vertical hitbox it has right now is kind of dog doo-doo. I'm gonna keep it I'm gonna be honest with you, it's really bad. So a buff to its vertical hitbox would help a little, but not how good the vertical hitbox on it used to be. Next, I'm gonna be talking about Godspeed, and obviously I have to talk about Godspeed. I think we need to reprogram the goalies. A goalie change needs to happen, because I don't think you're meant to make the Godspeed shots as easily as you are able to make them. This same issue happened during testing with PKA, and actually it wasn't even changed until a week before the game release, because Stacks remembered and realized that it would be an issue if PKA was as broken as it was when the game dropped. So PKA curve shot, the goalie used to just completely forget how to play the game when you would shoot a curve or a PKA straight from any decently far range. So he had to buff the goalies in order to stop that PKA stuff, but buffing the goalies to stop the PKA shots actually nerfed the goalies for the normal shots. So it kind of worked out for Stacks, because it helped the newer players, you know, feel good about playing the game instead of just missing every shot. Because I'm gonna be honest with you, when I first started playing this game back in testing, it was not easy to score a goal without a shooting skill, and you had to know the specific way to score it, and there wasn't any videos on the game, so you had to just go around asking people in public servers, and most people did not care to help you out. But I do think we need to buff the goalies a little bit when it comes to the Godspeed shots, and just make sure it doesn't affect any of the other shots. And honestly, I think that's really the only problem with Godspeed. It's the shooting skill. I would like to see a buff in, I forgot the name of the move, but it's the second Godspeed move where you do the two-sided dash where you go one way and you go the other way. Cooldown on that move is actually insane. You get that move so fast. I would like to see that cooldown increase to like 35, 40, maybe 45 seconds, as it is really good as a move and its cooldown is really insane. Now, most of the other weapons in the game are perfectly fine in the category that they're at. Obviously, we have to talk about Immense, we have to talk about direct shot, and we have to talk about finesse shot. These are the three not as good weapons. Immense is not one of the worst weapons in the game, but being that it's Chigiri's move, it could be way better, and it should be a prodigious weapon. So yeah, I'm gonna go into weapons that I feel like need a rework, and I'm gonna start with Chigiri, aka Immense Speed. Number one, we have to talk about 44 Panther Snipe, as anybody who reads the manga knows that this move should be in the game, but the way I'm thinking about it is a little bit differently. Now, one, I think his first move should be Immense Speed, and he should keep that move, and I don't think 44 Panther Snipe should be its own move. Now, what am I talking about? I think Match Cut-In should be its own move, and Controlled Shot should be its own move. You know, Controlled Shot could be similar to a PK straight, maybe a little bit slower. Something not super special when it comes to a straight shot compared to all the other prodigious weapons. But you have Match Cut-In, which could be a slower version of Explosive Excel, and those two moves by themselves aren't that great, but I want there to be a feature where if you use Match Cut-In and then immediately click onto Controlled Shot within like a 1 or 2 second window, it automatically aims the ball at the closest top corner in the goal. Basically, this ability would scale with your punch, so the higher punch you have, the farther you can hit this move from, and it's basically like an auto lock goal pretty much, but you are using two moves at the same time. And obviously, if you use this would have a major cooldown, as it's really good. But I think it's a really cool mechanic that could be added to the game. But I don't know, you guys let me know if it's a little bit too broken down in the comments. You could also add a dribbling move similar to the elastic move, where you go one side and then you go to the other. With that, you could go one side, and then when you go to the other side, you do a little Explosive Excel, or like you hit a little fast speeds, or your sprint speed increases for a small duration after using it. There's a lot of things you could do with the Chigiri weapon, and it kind of pains me to see that we only have a legendary weapon with one skill for Chigiri. So now for Kunigami, there is so much to do. Now, a move you could add to Kunigami is one of the moves similar to the Karusu moves, where you push the enemy away, because as we all know, Kunigami is built as fuck. But anyway, number one, I don't know if you guys know this, but finesse shot is not knuckle shot. I don't know what Stacks was doing when he named the knuckle shot finesse shot in Striker Odyssey, but finesse shot is so different than knuckle shot. Number one, finesse shot, the way it works is pretty much the same way the borrow straight works. That's really what it is. You could really, if you were lazy and you didn't care, you can just do the borrow straight, same exact coating and just give it a different aura when you shoot it. Next, you can keep the finesse shot knuckle shot move. No one would use that though, like absolutely no one would use it. Or you can try and buff it to add a pattern to it to where if it's shot within the vicinity close to the goal, it will change its trajectory to go into the goal instead of just changing its trajectory to go wherever it wants. It has something in it in the code that, you know, makes it shoot towards the goal. Next, we have jumping volley shot. As you guys can see, this is when Kunigami jumps up and kicks the ball in to steal Isagi's goal in the new Egoist League. I think this could be like actually a really cool move. Something that is, it could be something similar to drive shot, to where if you hold it down and somebody shoots it within your hitbox, you jump up and you shoot it. But I think that's boring. Let's do something cool to where it has the same type of startup and animation as Black Hole Trap, but when you jump up, instead of trapping the ball, you kick the ball. And it has to be timed the same way direct shot and the same way Big Bang Drive has to be timed. You just got to jump up and bang it. But it has crazy power because, of course, it's coming from Kunigami. So you could actually hit this from pretty far away. Now, that is enough moves to have a full Prodigist kit without even using anything about his strength to add to the weapon. I feel like Kunigami is another one that Stacks really sold the bag on for his weapon. Now, before I do get into Isagi, there's one thing I also wanted to add is I don't think Stacks will ever do anything Metavision related, and if he did, he would make Metavision its own weapon. But if he wanted to, for example, in ABA, there is a character called Ukiura, and there's a few other characters with the same mechanic that you get a second awakening bar, same as Asta in ABA as well. You build this second awakening bar, and it's like a mini mode. So you can pop this, you're gonna get it before your actual mode, and I think we could do that with Kunigami, to where you give him an awakening bar, and if he fills that bar by, you know, scoring goals, passing, getting assists, things like that, then he could pop his mode and go into wildcard mode, a special flow that gives him increased shot power. You know, it could be a lot of stuff. Now, I'm mentioning that because I also want to put that same concept for Isagi's weapon. I think he should build up enough he should build up an awakening bar that can get him into a Metavision type flow. Now, what do I think should be in this Metavision type flow? I think with this Metavision type flow, Isagi can activate a move, and it's a giant circle. Put it in perspective, if you're on the mini field, the league field, it would cover up maybe half of one of the halves. So it's not ginormous, but it's pretty big. And if the ball is, you know, shot, passed, or anything within this circle, you frame one, just get the ball. Now, I know it sounds really broken, but you have to think of it this way. He's building up a mode by scoring, getting assists, stealing the ball. He's building up this mode, so once you enter this mode, you have to get rewarded. Now, I don't think this mode should last for any longer than like 45 seconds, because at that point, that is just overkill. In Striker Odyssey, you used to be able to zoom all the way out as far as Roblox lets you in testing, but that's no longer a thing, and I believe that Stacks added that because he plans on adding Metavision in the future, or at least a Metavision Prodigy. Now, while you are within this flow, or this Metavision flow, you can scroll out as far as you want, because if you guys know, Metavision is described as seeing the field as an omnipotent being watching. So you should be able to zoom all the way out if you wanted to. Now, another thing I think should be added in this Isagi Metavision mode, and don't worry, I'm gonna get back to his normal abilities, but I feel like I just gotta talk about this first. One thing that should also be added is being able to see the future trajectory of the ball. This is actually unfathomably easy to code, and pretty much it's just gonna show you where the ball will fall when you shoot it, when someone else shot it. You know, it just gives you the knowledge of knowing where the ball will fall, where it'll bounce to, and it'll help you shooting when you're in Metavision because it'll show you exactly where the ball will go while you're holding down your shot. If you need like a reference, if you've played Call of Duty before with the grenade tips on, when you hold down the grenade and it shows you the path that the grenade will follow, something similar to that. I think that would be a really sick addition to Metavision. I do only think the only move he should have in Metavision is the Meta Burst point where he has that circle, and it should be like a specialized keybind, maybe middle mouse button, you know, things like that. But let's get into his normal abilities. Now, one, Isagi's direct shot needs to be reworked. I think direct shot should be a move that you can hold down freely while moving. Now, what I'm about to say next may or may not make the move broken, but I think it would be fun to have a broken direct shot instead of a broken Godspeed. Yeah, I went from smiling to being angry just thinking about the move. But I do think it would be more fun having a broken direct shot than a broken Godspeed. While you can move around freely in this move, it has the same type of hitbox that drive shot does, and the move works the same type of way that once somebody shoots the ball into your hitbox, move immediately procs and you direct shoot it. Now, you don't have to change anything about how the direct shot actually works, how fast it is, the trajectory, the arc. You don't have to change anything about that because those changes I just mentioned would make it good enough to where that doesn't really matter. But yeah, I think it would be a sick thing to have. Obviously, this move would have to have a hefty cooldown, but I think it would be super fun. Next, back heel shot. Now, you could have this shot work very similarly to heel pass, except it has the shooting power of a normal shot. I don't think it should have the shooting power of any of the shooting skills, but it should have the shooting power of a normal shot to where you can turn around, press the move, and it'll back heel it into the goal. And it's just a normal, cool move to have in this kit. Next, we have off the ball movement. Now, we have a move in the game called Stealthy Steps. I don't know if you guys know about this move, but it is kind of one of the more useless moves in the game. Stealthy Steps is only really used for people who want to go pure speed builds. You get immense explosive Stealthy Steps. They're all the moves that scale off of your speed stat, but it's really not that useful because people can see the aura and they can see your character. They know exactly where you are. But off the ball movement would really be the best move in Isagi's kit, and it will not last long though. I'm not going to make it super broken. When you pop the move for 2.5 or 3 seconds, you go completely invisible. I think 2.5 is a more fair number. You go completely invisible, or there's a small hint to where people can see you but barely, you know, to where you can actually trick people with this. And then you can position yourself wherever you want. But one thing you would have to add is a icon above your head when you use this that only your teammates can see, because it would be useless if you can go invisible but your teammates can't see you and pass you the ball. So I think adding a icon when you use this move above your head only for your teammates to see would be a good idea. Now, that is all my suggestions for Striker Odyssey. I made this video because I saw a lot of people commenting in my Striker Odyssey is dying video that I kind of just complained the whole video and didn't really make any recommendations. When I saw you guys saying that, I decided, you know what, let me make a video showing everything I want added to the game, everything I want nerfed, the things I want reworked, things like that, so you guys can really see where I'm at in terms of how I want this game to be and what the balancing should be. But yeah, I do hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, and comment. We are very close to 1,000 subscribers, so let's please get there. Hope you guys have a blessed day. Peace out.